Okay, so in our previous video, we had learned how to put video on the timeline and how to trim the video accordingly. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put an image file onto our timeline and talk about what happens when we put an image file onto the timeline. So the directions for putting an image file on the timeline are that you do the same protocols that you did for the previous tutorial. So we're going to right click over the media browser and we're going to hit import. And then the photo that I am going to attempt to put in here is this photo called class number 3. So I'm going to go ahead and hit open. And I'm going to place it on the timeline right after my video that I used over there. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag this photo into the timeline. And when I go over this timeline, you probably notice that the photo has a strange aspect ratio. And the second thing that's wrong with it is it's not big enough. So I have to actually edit the photo. But before I do, I'm going to zoom in into the project because I want to show you by default what happens when you place a photograph into an Adobe timeline. I'm going to zoom way in. And what you'll probably notice is that the timeline goes from approximately 22 seconds to approximately 27 seconds. Anytime you put a photo into an Adobe Premiere project, by default, it stays on there for 5 seconds of the timeline. So this will be on there for 5 seconds of the timeline. You can extend and make it longer by clicking the end here and making it longer, and it tells you the duration that it's taking it to. So right now it says duration is 7.27 seconds, which means that we added 2.27 seconds to it. That keeps it on there longer. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that because I want to keep it 5 seconds long. 5 seconds is a pretty good baseline for how long you'll want a photograph on the screen in general. So with that said, it's not the right size. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to resize this. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. And you'll notice as soon as I click on it in the upper left-hand corner here, the effects control panel is activated. And the first thing I got to do is I have to make this big enough so that it fits the entire project screen, or at least it fits the aspect ratio of it. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hover over the scale number where it says 100, and I'm going to click and then move my clicker all the way to the right. And notice it's making it bigger, but the other problem is that now it has placed it so that the kid who's holding the cue cards, his head is above the top of the screen. And that violates our rule about head hunting. So I'm going to have to change its position. Well, to change its position, if I want to make it go up and down, it's going to be the right value here for the position. The 720 is its left-right value, and then 540 is its value for up and down. So I actually need to move this photograph down by clicking and then moving to the right. Sorry, to the right. And that actually places the photo where I physically want it to be. So what I hope you learned when you watch this video is how to place the photo in there, how long it's on the timeline, and then you'll have to probably change its scale and sometimes its position to fit your project. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to show you how to place a photo on the timeline and then how to actually make it go into motion.